Hello and a big welcome back to the Wee Lorda channel. Today I'm going to be making a delicious biscuit from Orkney. It's called a Fatty Cuttie and it's quite similar to shortbread. I would say it's not as sweet as a shortbread, and it contains little currants in it as well. They're really nice. My kids absolutely love them. I first tried them from a company up in Orkney, Jane and Paul's Produce, I believe they're called JP Orkney. I'll put a link in the description box below. And they kindly sent me some last year, so that was the first time I'd ever tried them. And I bought some more at Christmas time for my family, and Santa also brought some in the kids' stockings as well. And the kids absolutely love them. They're so delicious. So I knew then that I was going to have to figure out how to make these. So I found a really old recipe for them in one of my cookbooks, and I've adapted it slightly, but it's still very similar to the old recipe. So this is a recipe for a traditional fatty cuttie from Orkney, and as I say, it's very similar to a shortbread, and if you love shortbread you'll love this recipe. So let's get started on our delicious traditional Scottish fatty cuttie. So for these fatty cutties you're going to need 360 grams of plain flour, 50 grams of caster sugar, 120 grams of currants, a pinch of salt and a little milk just if you need it to bind it into a dough at the end of the recipe. So we're going to start by adding our flour into the bowl. Now I didn't actually sift mine, but you can put yours through a sieve if you want to. And we're going to add in the sugar and a pinch of salt as well. Now I'm also adding in my baking powder as well. And my currants. And I'm just going to give that all a really good mix through, and while I'm doing that I'm melting the butter in the background. So you can use a better pan than me. It was just what I had to hand, so I'm just melting all the butter here, and we're going to add all of this melted butter back into the flour mixture. So this is a really simple recipe. We're just going to mix this through until a dough forms. Now it can be a little crumbly, so you can add in a little dash of milk if you need to, just to hold the dough together. But I did get away with not adding the milk, but if you need to, add in a little splash just to form it into a ball. Now we're going to roll it out onto the chopping board here. Now it is a little bit crumbly, so you do need to use your hands as well just to hold it together into shape. So we're just going to use a cutter to cut out some circles. Now the fatty cutties that I had tried from Orkney were actually in rectangular shape, but I found it quite easy just to use this little cutter here, and my kids like these little biscuit sized ones, so I've used the cutter for this. So I'm just using my hands and the rolling pin just to flatten out the dough to create these biscuits, and I've cut out all of the fatty cutties here, and we're just going to pop these onto the griddle, my cast iron griddle again, and we're going to pop them in the oven for 20 minutes at 160, and that's a fan oven as well. But just keep an eye on them. You don't want to burn them, you just want to cook them through. They're very similar to shortbreads in the way that they cook, and traditionally in the old recipe they actually cooked them in the cast iron pan like this. I am actually just using my cast iron pan to pop them in the oven because I use my cast iron pan for pretty much everything. But they did cook them on a griddle, and you would have flipped them over, so you can cook them in a pan if you want to. And it's quite a fragile dough as well, so I find it's quite tricky to use in a pan, so that's why I pop mine in the oven. And once they are finished cooking, you just leave them to cool, and that is it. This recipe is so easy and so simple, and these store really well in an airtight container. Not that there was any left to store in a container in my house, but you can store them if you need to. So I hope you enjoyed making your fatty cutties, and I hope they went down well with the family or whoever you were cooking them for. They are so delicious, and they store well as well in an airtight container. But the thing is, they never last long in my house, so I never have any to store. So if you enjoyed this recipe, please feel free to give this video a thumbs up and click the subscribe button for more delicious Scottish recipes. And I also have my free cookbook available on my website as well, so if you pop over to www.angiemilne.com, you can pick up a copy of my traditional Scottish cookbook, which is completely free. So you just pop in your email, it'll be sent to your inbox as well. And if you're on Instagram as well and you took a photo of your fatty cutties, then please feel free to send it to me and tag me on Instagram, and I'll share it in my stories. I love to see your foodie creations. So take care everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Lots of love. Bye bye.